This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, children. This is the Olive Kezia Ruth, TGT in Sciences from Kodikinahalli School. In the previous class, you have learned about nutrition in plants. Madam has clearly explained you about what is nutrition in plants, autotrophic nutrition, how plants get their prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. In today's class, I am going to teach about you nutrition in animals. That is part 2. Okay, children. So nutrition in plants means it is heterotrophic nutrition. You know there are two types of nutrition. One is autotrophic nutrition and second one is heterotrophic nutrition. Today we are going to learn about what is heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic? Autotrophic you have learned. Auto means self, whereas hetero means depending on others. So nutrition in animals, all the animals will depend on others for their food. They can't prepare their own food. So nutrition in animals will be of heterotrophic type. Moving to the next slide. Okay, types of nutrition in animals. How many types of nutrition are there in animals? See, animals means there are not only one type of animals. There are large animals, small animals, very minute, microscopic animals. So we have to learn how many types of nutrition are there. See, nutrition in animals is of three types. One is saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and holozoic nutrition. Saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic. What is saprophytic? Sapro means rotten. Okay, which the organism which depends on the rotten or decayed vegetables or decayed matter for their food is known as saprophytic nutrition. Whereas parasitic means parasitic is parasite. It depends on the other organism for its food, which causes harm to that organism. Next, third one is holozoic. Holozoic means holo means the whole amount, the food that is taken as a whole amount into the body. Zoic means animal here. So there are three types of nutrition. One is saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic, which each and individual we will learn in depth in the coming slides, children. So saprophytic nutrition. What is saprophytic nutrition? Can you see this image over here? Yes, your guess is right. That is mushroom. Very good. So have you ever eat these mushrooms? Some mushrooms will be edible. Some mushrooms are poisonous. So we have to check which type of food we are taking. Okay. So mushrooms, we have seen them as white color. Have you ever seen green mushrooms? They are not green. There will be white and some red or orange patches on them. Okay, so they are white in color, hence they can't prepare their food. Very good. They don't prepare food by the process of photosynthesis. Yes, mushrooms are not green. And how do they get food? And even mushrooms don't have mouth like us to eat the food. So mushrooms grow on dead and decaying matter. How they grow? Mushrooms grow on dead and decaying matter. They secrete some digestive juices on it and convert it into a solution and then absorb the nutrients from it. What do mushrooms do? Mushrooms depend on the dead and decaying matter. They secrete some digestive juices on that dead and decaying matter. ఏమైతుంది ఇక్కడ మష్రూమ్స్ ఏం చేస్తున్నాయి? ఒక డెడ్ ఆర్గానిజం మీద లేదా డీకేయింగ్ ఆర్గానిజం మీద ఏదైతే వానిష్ ఏదైతే డీకంపోజ్ అయిపోతుందో దాని మీద ఇది గ్రో అవుతూ ఏం చేస్తుంది? అది కొన్ని డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ ని సీక్రెట్ చేస్తుంది. ఎవరు? మష్రూమ్. దేని మీద? డీకేయింగ్ ఆర్గానిజం మీద. అలా డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ సీక్రెట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి రాటన్ మెటీరియల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో అది ఏమైపోతుంది? కరిగిపోతుంది. దాన్ని ఎలాగా టర్న్ చేస్తుంది? ఇట్ ఈస్ టర్నింగ్ ఇట్ ఇంటూ ఎ సొల్యూషన్. అలా లిక్విడ్ గా సొల్యూషన్ గా టర్న్ చేసి దాని నుంచి ఇట్ అబ్జార్బ్స్ న్యూట్రియంట్స్. ఇన్ సచ్ ఏ వే మష్రూమ్ ఇస్ గెటింగ్ ఇట్స్ ఫుడ్. This method of taking nutrition from the dead and decaying organisms is known as saprophytic nutrition. The best example is mushroom. Okay, we will see the definition of saprophytic nutrition. Note this point, this is very important. The mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in the form of solution from dead and decaying matter is called saprophytic nutrition. As I have explained you clearly, the same statement we are writing in the definition form. Okay, statement form. The mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in the form of solution from dead and decaying matter is called saprophytic nutrition. So one example we have seen, that is mushroom, but there are many examples of saprophytic nutrition, that is bacteria. Bacteria also causes saprophytic nutrition, and bread mold also causes saprophytic nutrition. What is bread mold? Yes, I'm going to show you in the next slide. See, to observe this bread mold, here in our textbooks they have given a small activity, that is to observe the fungus bread mold in bread. Okay, what you have to do, you have to take a piece of bread. See, you have to take a piece of bread. Okay, this piece of bread, what you have to do, you have to moist it with water and leave it in a warm place for 2 to 3 days. Not at all needed, 1 day is enough for this growth. So you have to leave them for 2 to 3 days. After 3 days, what you will observe, some white color or bluish green color cotton like threads, కొంచెం బూజు లాంటి పదార్థం మనకి bread మీద కనిపిస్తుంది. That is nothing but the bread mold. The fluffy patches which appear on the bread, which are cotton like threads, these are called as bread mold. Bread mold is also a saprophyte. Bread mold comes under one fungus. Mushroom is a type of fungus, and even bread mold is also one type of fungus, children. So this bread mold, if you observe this bread mold in the microscope, you will find structures like this. This is known as, actually the name of this bread mold is Rhizopus. Can you see here clearly? This is the Rhizopus stolonifer, okay, which grow on the bread. Yes, what is your doubt is exactly right. You can see these type of structures on the rotten vegetables also, rotten food also. If you cut your lemon into 2 pieces and keep lemon aside, you can see blackish mold. That is also a fungus which acquires the type of nutrition is saprophytic nutrition. See, after 4 days, you can see fluffy like images like this. And if you go through the microscope, these are in the structures can be seen like this. These are the spores which are coming out, and they are the reason for the contamination of this food. Okay, so these saprophytes get their food from dead and decaying matter. How do they do? On this bread structure, they form a mycelium like structure, and from the bread they secrete digestive juices into the bread, and from that bread it secretes the nutrients and it gets its food. Okay, this type of nutrition is also saprophytic nutrition. One more example I have told you, I'm sorry, that is bacteria, right? Bacteria, how the bacteria also causes saprophytic nutrition? Yes, we'll go to the next slide. What is this, children? Rat. I know you are very interested to see rat. Are you afraid? Yes, rat, I'm afraid. Okay, this is a dead rat. Okay, dead rat. After a few days, if you see something which is dead in your home, for example rat, after a few days we will get a bad smell from that dead rat, and after 20 days or 1 month you don't get any bad smell, but you can see the remnants of the rat, that is bone, the skeletal system of the rat will be laid there. Not only rat, every organism including human being also the same things happen. If we die, the body will be decomposed. After many days only bones will be remaining. So what happens to the rat after a few days? You can see only the bones. The rat gets decomposed. This is also because of the act of saprophytic organisms on the body of the rat to decompose it. As soon as the rat dies, this saprophytic bacteria comes and sits on the dead body of the rat, and it secretes its nutrients, it secretes its digestive juices and absorbs the nutrients from the dead organism dead organism like nitrogen and some other elements, it absorbs and decomposes the total body, leaving the bones beside. In such a way, these saprophytic bacteria are helping the earth in cleaning the earth's surface by removing the dead and decaying matter. For example, if you imagine there is no saprophytic bacteria at all on the earth, we will be getting bad smell from the dead bodies and we can't live on the earth. This is a real God's gift that these saprophytic bacteria, they clean the earth's surface by removing the dead and decaying matter. This is all about our saprophytic nutrition. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, listen children, this is somewhat a different topic. This is the root. Have you ever seen such type of roots? Some people are saying that yes, very good. Okay, those who are not seen also, don't worry, you are seeing right now here. This is the primary root and this is the secondary root. On the root, there are round structures you can see here. These are called as root nodules. So this is the structure which we have drawn, but here you can see the real structure. Okay, so these are all the root nodules. Can you see here white nodules? Yes, here you can see clearly. These are root nodules. What is this root nodules? Why are you saying us? Yes, reason. Some of the plants like groundnut, beans, or some dal. Dal means pulses. Okay, kandipappu, ilantivi. So these pulses families, they contain these root nodules. When you plug the tree or when you plug the plant and see its roots, you will find these root nodules. One bacteria called as rhizobium lives in these root nodules. Are you clear? ఈ రూట్ నాడ్యూల్స్ లో ఏముంటుంది, రైజోబియం అనే బ్యాక్టీరియా ఒకటి ఉంటుంది. మరి బ్యాక్టీరియా ఉంటే చెట్టు చచ్చిపోవాలి కదా, కానీ ఇక్కడ చెట్టు చనిపోదు. వాట్ ఇట్ డూస్ అంటే, దిస్ బ్యాక్టీరియా ఇట్ హెల్ప్స్ ద ట్రీ, it helps the plant by fixing nitrogen. This bacteria receives nitrogen from the atmosphere and supplies the nitrogen to the plant. In turn, this bacteria gets protection and shelter from the plant. In such a way, they both help each other. This type of association is called symbiosis. ఏం చేస్తున్నాయంట, ఒకరికి ఒకరు హెల్ప్ చేసుకుంటూ బతుకుతున్నాయంట. ఎవరు ఈ ప్లాంట్ ఏమో ఇక్కడ ఉండే బ్యాక్టీరియాకి షెల్టర్ ఇస్తుంది, ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఇస్తుంది. ఈ బ్యాక్టీరియా ఏమో ఈ ప్లాంట్ కి నైట్రోజన్ సప్లై ఇస్తుంది. అలా ఇవి రెండు ఒకరికొకరు సహాయం చేసుకుంటూ బతుకుతున్నాయి. ఇలాంటి అసోసియేషన్ ని ఏమని పిలుస్తున్నాం మనము, symbiosis. Okay, there are many examples to know about symbiosis. One more good example is lichen. What is lichen? Yes, see here. On some of the tree bark, you can see from fruit-like structures or from different images like what you are seeing here. ఎప్పుడైనా చూసారు ఇలాంటి స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ని? చెట్ల మీద ఒక ప్యాచ్ లాగా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, దీస్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ lichen. What is lichen? What is lichen means symbiotic relationship between an algae and a fungus. Lichen is nothing but the symbiotic relationship between algae and fungus. Algae, fungus ఇవి రెండు ఒకదానితో ఒకటి క్లోజ్లీ అసోసియేషన్ అయ్యి అవి ఏం ఫామ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాయి, ఒక గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్గానిజమ్స్ కలిసి లైకెన్ ని ఫామ్ చేస్తాయి. సో హౌ దే ఆర్ అరేంజ్డ్, fungal hyphae will be arranged on the top and fungal hyphae will be arranged on the base. In between you can see algal structures. This green color is there, no? This is algal structure. As I have told you, mushroom is a fungi, right? So this is different type of fungi. What I have told you in the first slide, fungus will not have chlorophyll structures. Fungi కి ఏముండదు, chlorophyll ఉండదు, అంటే గ్రీన్ కలర్ లో ఉండవు, అంటే ఫుడ్ నేమ్ చేయవి ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకోలేవు. కానీ ఆల్గే చూసారా గ్రీన్ కలర్ గా ఉంది ఇక్కడంతా ఆల్గే. ఓకే, దిస్ ఆల్గే we are green in color and they can perform photosynthesis. If they are performing photosynthesis, what they are doing, they can prepare their own food material. Very good. So algae prepare food material which supplies to the fungi and fungi gives protection to the algae. మధ్యలో పెట్టేసి చూసారా, అటు ఇటు క్లోజ్ చేసేసి ఎవరు వచ్చి దాన్ని ఏం చేయకుండా మధ్యలో దాన్ని ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉంది. సో fungi is giving protection to the algae whereas algae is supplying food to the fungus. In such a way, they both are organized in a association. This is known as lichen symbiosis. Algae provides food for hyphae through photosynthesis. Hyphae means nothing but These thread-like structures which you are seeing here are fungal hyphae, and hyphae provides a suitable environment for the algae to survive. Very good. So what is the use of this algae lichen, madam? You are selling lichen. Okay. Lichen stands another example of symbiotic relationship. Lichens are used in the preparation of litmus paper. You will be seeing this litmus paper in your chemistry class, right? To know the pH, that is this an acid or a base? In your previous class also you have learned this acid base. If it is an acid, you can use a red litmus paper or blue litmus paper. You will see base. If this is a base, it will be turning into blue color, and if it is an acid, it is turning into red colors. That is the litmus paper. Okay, so these lichens are used in the preparation of litmus paper. And also one interesting thing is some lichens are used in the preparation of biryani. If you go and see in Hyderabad dum biryani, that is a very famous biryani, right? Many of you can like that. In that biryani also, some will use these lichens. Not these lichens, there will be different types of lichens. One of the lichen will be used in preparation of biryani, and there are many ornamental uses on this lichens also. Moving to the next slide. Okay, till now we have learned about symbiotic relationship. One part is completed. How many types of nutrition? 3 types. One is saprophytic, and next one here coming is parasitic nutrition. My cursor is giving me some trouble. I'm sorry, children. Parasitic nutrition. The third one is holozoic. So coming back to the parasitic nutrition, I have told you what is parasite. Parasite means, parasite ante em cheppanu, one organism takes its food material from the other organism, making damage to that organism. ఏం చేస్తుందంట, ఇది ఒక ఆర్గానిజం ఒక దాని మీద బతుకుతుంది, వేరే ఆర్గానిజం మీద, దాని నుంచి మొత్తం న్యూట్రియన్స్ తీసుకొని ఆర్గానిజం ని చంపేయడం కానీ డిస్ట్రాయ్ చేయడం కానీ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. జస్ట్ లైక్ అస్, అంతే కదా. వి డిపెండ్ ఆన్ అవర్ పేరెంట్స్ ఫర్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, బట్ ఇన్ టర్న్ we hurt our parents. I'm just giving you an example, that is not exactly. Okay, children. So next, moving to the next slide. See here. Okay, have you ever seen such type of trees? Yellow color thread-like structures twining on a plant. Yes, some of you may have seen and some of you may have not seen this. Okay, let me tell you, this yellow color threads which you are seeing here, నెట్ లైక్ స్ట్రక్చర్ వల లాగుంది కదా ఈ చెట్టు మీద అంతా ఎల్లో కలర్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్, దీన్ని ఏమంటామంటే మనం కస్క్యూటా. వాట్ విల్ సే? కస్క్యూటా. వెరీ గుడ్. సో కస్క్యూటా is another name for cuscuta is dodder plant. What this cuscuta is doing? Cuscuta is a plant. ఓకే, ప్లాంట్స్ అంటే మనం ఏం చెప్పుకుంటున్నాం, వాటికి గ్రీన్ కలర్ ఉంటుంది, ఆకులు ఉంటాయి, ఫుడ్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకుంటుంది. బట్ కస్క్యూటా డజంట్ హ్యావ్ లీవ్స్ అట్ ఆల్. దానికి లీవ్స్ ఉండవు. మరి ఫుడ్ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకుంటుంది, అంతే కదా. ఓకే, చూడండి. సో కస్క్యూటా వాట్ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డూయింగ్, ఈ ఇక్కడ లావుగా ఉంది, దిస్ ఈజ్ అ స్టెమ్ అన్నమాట, ఒక వేరే ప్లాంట్ యొక్క స్టెమ్. దాని మీద ఈ కస్క్యూటా ఎలా చూడండి, చుట్టుకొని ఏదో ఒక పాము చుట్టుకున్నట్టు చుట్టుకోపోయింది కదా. ఎస్, ఇక్కడ చూడండి, దాని లోపలికి ఇఫ్ యూ క్లోజ్లీ అబ్జర్వ్ దిస్ స్లైడ్, into that plant some projections are coming from the daughter plant which are penetrating into that stem. అవునా, కస్క్యూటా నుంచి కొన్ని ముళ్ళు లాంటి స్ట్రక్చర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, అవి ఏం చేస్తున్నాయి, ఈ చెట్టు లోపలికి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాయి. దీస్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ హాస్టోరియా. వాట్ దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ as హాస్టోరియా. if you want to note this, you can note this spelling, హాస్టోరియా. what it will do, this హాస్టోరియా will penetrate into the host plant, and from the host plant Cuscuta plant will take water, food, nutrients and all minerals for its growth. Are you getting my point? This plant, daughter plant, will depend on the other plant for its food, for its food, for water and for minerals. Everything it will be taking from the host plant. Such type of relationship is called parasitic nutrition. See, yellow thread-like structures twining around the stem, branches and leaves of some trees. These thread-like structures are called cuscuta, that is daughter plant. They take food from the plant on which twines with the help of Astoria. Thus they take food from host plant and lives as a parasite on that plant. Such type of nutrition is said as parasitic nutrition. Not only cuscuta or daughter plant, there are many examples regarding this parasitic nutrition. See, in parasitic nutrition, two types of nutrition will be there: ectoparasite, endoparasite. This is endoparasite, ectoparasite. See, ecto means which lives on the surface. Endo means which lives in the body. In the body, we will see the examples. Okay. See, this is the definition of a parasite. Parasitic nutrition is the mode of heterotrophic nutrition in which an organism lives on the body or inside the body of another organism. Em chestundanta? In which an organism, oka organism, దాన్ని ఏమంటాం? Parasite, which lives on the body or inside the body. It may live on the body, on the surface of the body, or inside the body of another organism, that is called host. Parasitic nutrition means the parasite lives on or inside the body of the host, making it damage or giving some sort of destroy to that organism. The parasite gets its nutrients from the host organism. Thus, in parasitic nutrition, one organism gets benefited, another is vitiated. I have already told you, lives on the surface of the body. For this ectoparasite, the best example is lice. పేలు ఉంటారు కదా, మన తలలో ఉంటాయి కదా పేలు, అవి ఎట్లా ఉంటున్నాయి? తల మీద ఉంటున్నాయి, తల లోపలికి వెళ్ళట్లేదు కదా. సో మన పైన ఉంటూ ఏం చేస్తుంది? లోపల ఉండే బ్లడ్ అంతటిని తీసుకుంటా ఉంటది. దట్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ద ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫర్ ectoparasite. Whereas some worms will be there, intestinal worms. నులి పురుగులు అంటారు కదా పిల్లలు. Yes, these intestinal worms are seen in the stomach of the human body as parasite, which causes harm to humans. If this parasite, what it will do? Intestinal worms, these worms will go into our body, stick to the stomach of our body, and they cause harm to our బాడీ చిల్డ్రన్. ఓకే, సో అందుకనే మనకి ఎప్పుడు స్కూల్లో 2 times కొన్ని టాబ్లెట్లు ఇస్తారు. చూసారు ఎప్పుడైనా మీరు? వైట్ కలర్ టాబ్లెట్స్ ఇస్తారు. ఏం చేస్తాం మనం? ఆ టాబ్లెట్లు తీసుకొని డస్ట్బిన్ లో పడేస్తాం కదా. డోంట్ డూ లైక్ దట్. ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ February and August, February 10th and August 10th, nurse will come to our school and give some tablets, that is albendazole tablets. You have to take those tablets because if you have any intestinal worms, those worms will be killed and thrown out of the body so that we can live healthy. Okay, this is called as parasitic nutrition. You will be knowing about this parasitic nutrition in depth in your next classes, children. Okay, in your upper classes. Okay, next one. Did you note this definition, everyone? Okay. Next type of nutrition, that is last nutrition, is holozoic nutrition. We have to complete fast, our time is running short. Okay, holozoic nutrition. I have told you what is holo. Complete food is taken into the body of the animal. See, saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, we have seen that animals are not taking the complete food into its mouth and getting digested. అక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాయి? బయటనే డైజెస్ట్ చేసుకొని లోపలికి ఆహారాన్ని తీసుకుంటున్నాయి. కానీ హోలోజాయిక్ లో ఏం చేస్తాం? లోపలికి ఆహారాన్ని తీసుకొని లోపలనే డైజెషన్ జరుగుతుంది. అర్థమవుతుందా? బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్. మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? బయట డైజెషన్ చేసేసుకొని మిక్సీలో వేసేసుకొని తిప్పేసుకొని లోపలికి వేసుకొని తింటున్నామా? లేదు. We will take food, we will make it into pieces in our mouth, and then we swallow, and digestion will completely takes place in the organ, in the body of human beings. So we'll be learning in detail about this holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition is the mode of heterotrophic nutrition in which the food is taken in solid or liquid form from the outside and is digested inside the body. Okay, ఏంటంట holozoic nutrition అంటే? It is also heterotrophic nutrition in which food is taken in the form of solid or liquid. అంతేనా? సాలిడ్ అన్న తీసుకుంటాం, లిక్విడ్ ఫామ్ అన్న తీసుకుంటాం, from outside, and it is digested inside the body. See, in the holozoic nutrition there are 5 steps, children. 5 steps. The first step is ingestion. Ingestion అంటే ఇంజెక్షన్ కాదు. ఇంజెక్షన్ అంటే ఏంటి? It is the process of intake of food materials, that is the food which we are taking into our mouth. In case of holozoic nutrition, food is ingested through the mouth. Mouth ద్వారా మన లోపలికి తీసుకుంటున్న ఆహారాన్ని తీసుకుంటున్న దాన్ని మనం ఏమంటున్నాం? ఇంజెక్షన్. Next step is digestion. Digestion means the food which we are taking into the mouth is crushed and it is getting digested. It is a process of conversion of large organic molecules obtained from diet into simpler forms. See, we are taking a food, we don't swallow food as it is. We just crush that food, we make into small pieces. In such a way, we are taking a large organic molecule such as carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which are not digested in, which can't be absorbed through the body if they are not digested. Hence, they are converted into simpler absorbable forms. That process is known as digestion. Next, after the digestion, the third step is absorption. You have to note down these steps. Okay, absorption. It is a process of absorption of digested absorbable form of food through various methods for further use. ఏమైతుంది ఇక్కడ? డైజెస్ట్ అయిన ఫుడ్ లోపలికి అబ్జార్బ్ అవుతుంది త్రూ బ్లడ్ వెజల్స్. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, త్రూ బ్లడ్ వెజల్స్ blood absorbs the nutrients which are digested completely, and from that is assimilation. What is assimilation? Yes, this will be slight difference between absorption and assimilation. It is the process of utilization of absorbed food to meet energy requirements of the body to perform all metabolic activities. ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది, డైజెస్ట్ అయిన ఫుడ్ బ్లడ్ లోకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ అవుతుంది. ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ ఇంటూ ద బ్లడ్ అని అనొచ్చు. అసిమిలేషన్ అంటే ఏంటి? అబ్జార్బ్డ్ ఫుడ్ బికమ్ ద పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద బాడీ టు మీట్ ద ఎనర్జీ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్. అబ్జార్బ్ అయిన ఫుడ్ ఏం చేయాలి? మనకి ఎనర్జీ ఇవ్వాలి. అలా ఎనర్జీ ఇవ్వడానికి బాడీ అంతా కూడా అది స్ప్రెడ్ అయ్యే విధానాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాం? అసిమిలేషన్. అండ్ ద లాస్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ ఎజెషన్. ఇంజెషన్, ఎజెషన్. ఎజెషన్ అంటే ఇక్కడ ఇంజెషన్ అంటే ఆహారాన్ని లోపలికి తీసుకోవడం. ఎజెషన్ అంటే మిగిలిపోయిన చెత్త చెదారాన్ని ఏం చేస్తున్నాము? వీఆర్ థ్రోయింగ్ ఇట్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ బాడీ. Egestion means it is the removal of excretory waste material in the form of feces and urine outside the body. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So we will be learning three examples in this holozoic nutrition. One is the nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba ante enti? Have you ever seen amoeba? Okay, we will be having a permanent slides which we can see under microscope. This is a tiny organism which lives in the water, which can be seen only through microscope. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism. It has okay cell untadi, single cell. It has cell membrane. This is the cell membrane. Round, dense nucleus is present with many vacuoles in its cytoplasm. Amoeba doesn't have a shape. Amoeba has irregular shape. It constantly changes its shape and position. What it will be having? Amoeba will having, can you see these structures? These structures are called as pseudopodia. With the projections, these are finger-like projection. With the help of this pseudopodia, this amoeba makes movement as well as it can capture food. If you see here, amoeba is seeing food over here. ఇక్కడ ఫుడ్ ఉంది, ఇది చూసింది. ఏం చేసింది? ఇప్పుడు సూడోపోడియాని ఇలా పంపించింది. ఎలా? ఫుడ్ కి చుట్టూ. ఓకేనా? పంపించిన తర్వాత ఏం చేసింది? ఆ ఫుడ్ ని తన లోపలికి తీసుకుంటుంది, బాడీ లోపలికి. Now see, food comes into the body of the amoeba. When the food enters the body, it secretes some kinds of digestive juices to destroy this food or to break the food. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తుంది? It is breaking the food into small particles and it is absorbing the food. Assimilation also done here. Absorbing the food and the energy is assimilated over here. And in the fifth point, the undigested material will be expelled out through a small vacuole present inside the amoeba. So these two steps are ingestion and these two steps are digestion. This is absorption. This is assimilation. This is egestion. In the organisms which perform holozoic type of nutrition, all these 5 steps will be seen, children. Okay. So food vacuole forms around the captured food. Food gets digested in it, absorbed into the cytoplasm and assimilates. Finally, undigested food is sent out by opening this vacuole out at the body surface. Okay, this is the nutrition in amoeba. Next slide. I'm moving very fast because time is lapsing, children. Okay, digestion in grass-eating animals. Have you ever seen grass-eating animals? Okay, if you have not seen, go and observe cow or buffalo, which will be in your locality. What this will do? It will eat the food and it will take rest in some place and then take out all the grass and it will be ruminating, continuously it will be chewing. Have you observed that? ఎప్పుడు నెమరు వేస్తూ ఉంటుంది కదా కూర్చొని. మనకు కూడా అట్లుంటే బాగుంటుంది కదా. ఓకే, సో వీటిని ఏమంటారు? నెమరు వేసే జంతువులు ఏమంటారు నాన్న? ruminants. What they is called? ruminant. ఆ ప్రాసెస్ ని మనం rumination అంటాం. So these are called as ruminants. Okay, in the stomach of ruminants we can see 4 parts, 4 chambers. One is rumen, the other one is reticulum, omasum and abomasum. Okay, these are the 4 chambers. Okay children, so this cow or buffalo or the ruminants, they swallow the grass quickly. They eat the grass. దొరికినంత grass అంతా ఏం చేస్తున్నాయి? They are swallowing and then they store in the rumen. ఇక్కడ rumen లో స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటారు. After that, when they come to rest position, what it will do? It will again bring back this partially digested food into the mouth and it began swallowing, chewing it nicely. Okay, partial digestion in rumen is called as cud. When the grass enters into the rumen, partial digestion will be done. That is known as cud. Okay, again this cud is bring back into the mouth. It is the cud enters back to mouth in lumps and chews again. మళ్ళీ దాన్ని ఏం చేస్తుంది? నెమరు వేసి మంచిగా డైజెషన్ ని చేస్తుంది మౌత్ లోనే. This process is called rumination. This process is called rumination. Okay, so as rumination is done by these organisms are known as ruminants. Okay, see here we have to learn one thing. Grass is rich in cellulose, which is a type of carbohydrate. We have already learned large organic molecules will be broken down into smaller ones. See here, large organic molecules obtained from diet is broken into small absorbable forms, whereas cellulose is a very large organic molecule which can't be digested. I'm sorry, which can't be digested properly. So cellulose can't be digested in the human. Cellulose can be digested only with the help of certain bacteria present in the rumen region. ఏముంటుందంటే rumen లో కొన్ని రకాల బ్యాక్టీరియా ఉంటుంది. అందుకే ఇది గ్రాస్ తిన్నప్పుడు గ్రాస్ లో ఉండే సెల్యులోజ్ rumen కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు rumen లో ఉండే బ్యాక్టీరియా ఆ సెల్యులోజ్ ని డైజెస్ట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. As human beings, we doesn't have that bacteria in our stomach or in our alimentary canal, so we don't get digest when we eat grass. Of course, we don't eat grass. We take you may have some doubts like, madam, we will take green leafy vegetables. It also consists of cellulose. How it is getting digested? Green leafy vegetables will not get digested in our body, and they contain fiber which will be helpful for a free bowel movement in our body. Only some type of nutrients or some type of elements which are necessary will be absorbed. But here, as we see, grass is rich in cellulose. Certain bacteria in rumen digest this cellulose. Okay, next. So if they ask you a question, why does man or animals including humans cannot digest cellulose? Because you have to say that we don't have bacteria which can digest the cellulose in our human. Okay children, moving to the next slide. Very important, human digestive system. We have seen nutrition in amoeba, nutrition in fungi, nutrition in cows, buffaloes or something. But now we are going to interesting topic, that is human digestive system. We are learning about ourselves. Is it not interest to learn ourselves? Yes, I know you are very excited. So human digestive system, that is nutrition in human beings, it is also heterotrophic nutrition. In that heterotrophic nutrition, which type of nutrition? Yes, holozoic nutrition. Here we take the food in the form of solids or liquids. అంతే కదా నాన్న, సాలిడ్ అన్న తీసుకుంటాం, లిక్విడ్ అన్న తీసుకుంటాం. This we get digested inside the body and absorbed by the body. Blood transports digested food to different parts for assimilation. In humans also, all the 5 steps will be included: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and digestion. Here human digestive system is divided into 2 parts. One is alimentary canal, the other one is associated glands. which are also called as digestive glands. What is alimentary canal? Starting from the mouth to the anus, it is called alimentary canal. If you see this picture, you can know what is alimentary canal. Okay, see. So, starting from the mouth till anus, this complete system is known as alimentary canal. What parts are there in alimentary canal? See, the first part is mouth. The next part is oral cavity inside the mouth. And the other one is next coming back to the pharynx region. After that pharynx region, we have a long coiled structure called esophagus. Esophagus enter into stomach. Stomach enters into small intestine. After that, large intestine, rectum, and anus. This is the alimentary canal. You have to learn, remember the pathway. Okay, see, mouth, oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. Small intestine is again divided into three parts, that is duodenum, jejunum, ileum, whereas large intestine is divided into cecum, colon, and rectum. No need of remembering. You just remember this pathway. Then digestive glands are present. Salivary glands, liver, and pancreas. If ఏంటి ఏం చేస్తానో మనం తర్వాత తెలుసుకుందాం. See, mouth ingestion takes place, esophagus, and then stomach, and then small intestine, then large intestine, and rectum and anus. Okay. First, our digestion starts in the mouth. What are present in the mouth? Teeth and tongue. Okay. So here we will be learning about teeth and types of teeth. We chew the food. I didn't write food here. Sorry. We chew food with the help of teeth to break down large molecules into smaller ones. Digestion starts in the mouth. Mana digestion ekkada start ayyidanta. Remember this point. It is very important. Digestion starts in the mouth. See, tooth types. 4 types of tooth are present in our body, that is incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. 2 incisors will be present, 1 canine is present, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. This is half jaw, Nana, not full jaw. This is half jaw. In the half jaw, we have 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and molar. Incisors are used to cut the food. Canine are used to tear the food. Molars are used to grind the food. If you can see here, 4 types of teeth are present here. I have shown you. Okay. So each tooth have enamel structure, which is very hardest part in our body. This enamel is the outermost layer of teeth, which is very hard. Okay. For that reason, if you brush your teeth very harshly also, our teeth will not come out because of this hardest coating, which is protecting our tooth. Okay. Dentine, pulp region, gum region, root canal, bone, and cementum. All these will be learning in your next class in detail. Okay. So how many types of teeth are there? Incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. How many tooth you have? 32. Humans will have 32 teeth. Avuna? Children, 32 teeth. Okay. ఇది హాఫ్ జా 2 1 2 3 ఇంకో హాఫ్ జాలో 2 1 2 3 మళ్ళీ కింద 2 1 2 3 మళ్ళీ ఇటు 2 1 2 3 సో 2 1 2 3 by 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 by 2 1 2 3 ఇంటూ 2 చేస్తే మనకి ఏమొస్తుంది 32 టీత్ వస్తాయి అన్నమాట. ఓకేనా. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇవి 2 ఇన్సిజార్లు, 1 కెనైన్, 2 ప్రీమోలార్లు, 3 మోలార్. మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ కూడా అంతే కదా, 2 ఇన్సిజార్లు, 1 కెనైన్, ఇది ప్రీమోలార్, ఇది మోలార్స్. ఇవన్నీ కలిపితే మనకి ఎన్ని పళ్ళు ఉన్నాయి? మొత్తం 32. కానీ పిల్లల్లో 32 ఉంటాయా? ఉండవు, 20 ఉంటాయి. మరి ఏముండదు అక్కడ? ఇక్కడ చూడండి, డెంటల్ ఫార్ములా రాంగ్ ఇచ్చారు. 2102 నాన్న, ఇక్కడ 0 రావాలి. సో 2 ఇన్సిజార్స్ ఉంటాయి, 1 కెనైన్ ఉంటుంది, ప్రీమోలార్స్ ఉండవు. మోలార్స్ లో 2 ఉంటాయి. చూడండి, సారీ, మోలార్స్ ఉండవు, ప్రీమోలార్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, సారీ నాన్న, మోలార్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఏది కర్సర్? ఓకే, చూడండి ఇక్కడ. సో ఇన్సిజార్స్ ఆర్ ప్రెసెంట్. ప్రైమరీ టీత్, సెకండరీ టీత్. Primary teeth are present in the children. Okay. Secondary teeth are present in the adults. Primary teeth seen in children. Premolars are absent. How many premolars are there? 2 premolars, which you can't see here. If you see the diagram, green color is incisor, red is canine, this blue is molars, whereas yellow is premolars. These premolars are absent in the primary tooth, whereas here 3 molars will be present. In children only 2 molars are present. Total only 20 teeth will be present in children. Okay. Next one. ఏంటిది? పన్ను మీద ఎవరు ఎక్కి డాన్స్ వేస్తున్నారు. ఎవరు వీళ్ళు? బ్యాక్టీరియా. అవి వేసినప్పుడు డాన్స్ ఏమైతుంది ఇక్కడ? హ్యాపీగా నవ్వుతూ తెల్లగా ఉండే పళ్ళు ఏమైపోతున్నాయి? పుచ్చిపోతున్నాయి. మీకు పుచ్చిపళ్ళు ఉన్నాయా? ఎస్, that is called as tooth decay. What it is called? Tooth decay. See, our tooth decay will be like this. If you go to the doctor, he will see the tooth decay, he will drill it and he will fill that gaps with the cement. He will take out this pulp and he will fill that with cement. Why the tooth decay is happening? For that you have to do an experiment. To know the process of tooth decay, marbles, you have to take dilute hydrochloric acid and test tube. Put a few pieces of marble, take a test tube, put some hydrochloric acid in the test tube, and in that add some marbles. Examine after a while or after 1 day. Acid reacts with the marble and dissolves it. The same way, the enamel I have shown you, which is the hardest bone, which is a calcium compound, reacts with the acid and get destroyed in the same way as marble reacts with the hydrochloric acid. You may get a doubt here. Why acid is coming in our tooth, madam? We are not taking any acid. We don't drink acid. Yes, you don't drink acid, children. But what happens? See here. Food remains in our teeth. Okay. After, if you don't brush properly, after taking food or after taking meal, if you don't wash your teeth with water properly, some food remnants will be on your teeth. On that teeth, bacteria will be growing. Bacteria will be growing. Bacteria feeds on that teeth. What this bacteria will do? Obviously, bacteria, once it feeds on the food, it leaves lactic acid. Bacteria produces lactic acid. Are you getting point? Now how acid is coming on the teeth? Yes, bacteria produces lactic acid on the teeth and causing destruction of the enamel and causing tooth decay. పుచ్చిపళ్ళు ఉంటే చండాలం ఉంటది కదా, బాగోదు. సో we get toothache, బాగా నొప్పి వస్తుంది, భరించలేని నొప్పి. So you have to brush your teeth properly, children. See, what is tooth decay? Decay is the destruction of tooth structure. Decay occurs when plague, that is bacteria, the sticky substance that forms on the teeth, combines with the sugars or starches of the food that we eat. This produces acids that attack tooth enamel. Okay, children. So here you can see that tooth decay, tooth, then here food remains and plague bacteria on the tooth surface. In that time we will get tooth decay. అర్థమైందమ్మా? tooth decay ఎలా వస్తుంది? మనం తీసుకున్న ఆహారం మన పళ్ళ మీద నిలిచిపోతే, ఆ ఆహారం ఏమైతుంది? దాని మీద బ్యాక్టీరియా పెరిగి ఆ బ్యాక్టీరియా ఆహారం తీసుకొని అది ఏం చేస్తుంది? లాక్టిక్ యాసిడ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది. అది పళ్ళ మీద ఉండే ఎనామిల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ని కంప్లీట్ గా నాశనం చేసి పళ్ళ లోపలికి అది బ్యాక్టీరియా వెళ్ళిపోయి పుచ్చు అనేది కలుగుతుంది. టూత్ డీకే దస్ హ్యాపెన్. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు బ్రష్ యువర్ టీత్ ట్వైస్ డైలీ. దట్ ఈస్ మార్నింగ్ ఒకసారి చేయాలి, నైట్ పడుకోక ముందు చేయాలి. నైట్ టైమ్స్ బ్యాక్టీరియల్ యాక్టివిటీ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి టు అవాయిడ్ టూత్ డీకే యూ హ్యావ్ టు బ్రష్ యువర్ టీత్ ప్రాపర్లీ. సమ్ ఆఫ్ యూ మే సే, మేడం నేను అస్సలు బ్రష్ చేయను కదా. డోంట్ డూ లైక్ దట్. ఓకే, క్లీన్ యువర్ టీత్ properly. Okay, moving to the next slide is process of human digestion system. Now what we have learned? Mouth, digestion in the mouth. By the help of tooth we are getting digestion. Mouth, food is taken into the body through it. It leads into buccal cavity. Mouth dwara food తీసుకుంటాం, which leads into buccal cavity. Buccal cavity contains tongue, teeth and secretions of salivary glands. We have 3 pairs of salivary glands which we will learn in detail in your 10th class. So in this buccal cavity, salivary glands produces some type of digestive juices which causes carbohydrate digestion. Carbohydrate digestion starts here. Next part is the pharynx. Pharynx is the common chamber for both digestive tract and respiratory tract. From this pharynx, it leads into esophagus. Esophagus is a long coiled muscular tube which connects the buccal cavity or pharynx with the stomach. Stomach is a sac-like structure. In the stomach, we will be having hydrochloric acid, that is the acid in the stomach which kills the bacteria as well as which helps in digestion of the food. Protein digestion occurs in the stomach. Next part is the small intestine, and in the small intestine the first part is duodenum. You can see duodenum. Into this duodenum, liver will be opening and pancreas will be opening. From this liver, one type of juices will be coming, and pancreas also one type of juices will be coming, which causes digestion in the duodenum. You can see this structure in your textbooks also. Okay, next it leads into the small intestine. Small intestine is about 6 meter long, very large one. అందుకే అది ఏమైతుంది, మెలికలు తిరిగి ఇక్కడే పాపం సర్దుకొని పడుకొని ఉంది కదా. Digestion of food is completed here with the help of its juices. Its inner wall have thousands of finger-like outgrowths called villi, which absorbs the digested food. ఇలాగా స్మాల్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ ముడుచుకొని ఉండిపోవడం వల్ల ఇక్కడ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ విల్లై అనేవి ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట, ఫింగర్ లైక్ ప్రొజెక్షన్స్, విచ్ యు విల్ లెర్న్ ఇన్ డీటెయిల్ ఇన్ 10th class. These villi will absorb the food material. See, digestion starts in the mouth, digestion completes in the small intestine. Digestion complete అయిపోతే ఏమైతుంది, అబ్జార్ప్షన్. స్మాల్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ చుట్టూ ఉండే బ్లడ్ వెజల్స్ ఇక్కడ డైజెస్ట్ అయిన దాన్ని బ్లడ్ లోకి తీసుకొని అబ్జార్బ్ చేసుకొని అక్కడి నుంచి బ్లడ్ హార్ట్ కి వెళ్ళి హార్ట్ నుంచి మొత్తం బాడీ పార్ట్ కి మనకి ఎనర్జీని ఇస్తూ ఉంటాయి. నెక్స్ట్ పార్ట్ ఇస్ ద లార్జ్ ఇంటెస్టైన్. లార్జ్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ రెమినెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫుడ్, అన్డైజెస్టెడ్ ఫుడ్ లార్జ్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ లోకి వెళ్తుంది. ఈ లార్జ్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇలా వచ్చినప్పుడు అక్కడ వాటర్ మినరల్స్ అన్ని అబ్జర్వ్ అయిపోతాయి. దెన్ ద లాస్ట్ అన్డైజెస్టెడ్ ఫుడ్ విల్ గో ఇన్ టు ద రెక్టమ్, ఇట్ స్టోర్ దేర్, అండ్ దెన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద anus fecal matter is removed out. Okay children, so mouth to the anus, how digestion takes place. Mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, that is small intestine first part, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. Okay ma, అర్థమైందా నాన్న, క్లియర్ ఉందా? ఇక్కడ సెలవరీ గ్లాండ్స్ ఏమో డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్, లివర్, ప్యాంక్రియాస్ డియోడినం లోకి డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ ని సిక్రెట్ చేస్తున్నాయి. అందుకే ఇందాక చూసారు డైజెస్టివ్ గ్లాండ్స్, సెలవరీ గ్లాండ్స్, లివర్, ప్యాంక్రియాస్ ఎలా యాక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాయో చూసారా? వెరీ గుడ్. డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ మనకి నోట్లోకి ఏమో సెలవరీ గ్లాండ్స్ ఇస్తాయి, లివరు ప్యాంక్రియాస్ వచ్చేసి మనకి డియోడినం డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ ఇస్తాయి, స్టమక్ లో ఏమో హైడ్రోక్లోరిక్ యాసిడ్ ఉంటుంది, స్మాల్ ఇంటెస్టైన్ లో కూడా కొన్ని రకాల డైజెస్టివ్ జ్యూసెస్ ఉంటాయి. ఇవన్నీ కలిసి మన ఫుడ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, డైజెస్ట్ చేసి కంప్లీట్ గా మన బాడీలోకి అబ్జార్బ్ చేసి అన్డైజెస్టెడ్ ఫుడ్ మెటీరియల్ ని ఫీకల్ మ్యాటర్ లో బయటికి యానస్ ద్వారా పంపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. దిస్ ఇస్ ద హోల్ ప్రాసెస్ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమన్ డైజెషన్. నెక్స్ట్, ఓకే, హెల్త్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమన్ డైజెషన్. కామన్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఏంటన్నా మనకి, అన్నం అరక్కపోవడం, వెరీ గుడ్, అండ్ కొంతమందికి కాన్స్టిపేషన్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉండండి. డయేరియా అంటే మోషన్స్. ఓకే, కాన్స్టిపేషన్ మీన్స్ సరిగ్గా మోషన్ అవ్వకపోవడం. ఇరిటబుల్ బౌల్ సిస్టమ్, కొంతమందికి తిన్న వెంటనే వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటారు. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ఇరిటబుల్ బౌల్ సిస్టమ్. బౌల్ అంటే లోపల ఉండేటటువంటి యానల్ రీజియన్ లో ఉండేటటువంటి ఫుడ్ ని మనం బౌల్ అంటాం. అవి ఏంటంటే సరైన మూవ్మెంట్స్ జరగవు. అండ్ మేజర్ థింగ్ ఈజ్ అసిడిటీ. దీస్ డేస్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ adults but children are also getting acidity. The main reason of acidity is eating burger, pizza, that is junk foods, chips, lays or some other things, and skipping the meals, over stress and strain, and drinking alcohol or smoking or gutka, bad habits. These all causes very danger to our stomach. See, our stomach is crying if you're taking all this food. If you take these junk foods once in a while, it is okay, but if you are taking daily, it is not good for your stomach. Okay children, slide. Okay, see, acidity, burning sensation in the chest. మీ chest లో చాలా pain అనిపిస్తుంది. Stomach and throat, upper abdominal discomfort. This is because of taking spicy food, stress, unhealthy or irregular meals. ఉదయం తినాల్సింది మధ్యాహ్నం, మధ్యాహ్నం తినాల్సింది రాత్రికి తింటే ఇలాగ ఉంటుంది. Drinking too much alcohol, smoking and chewing tobacco products, all these causes acidity, which is a very dangerous problem for the digestive system. చూడాలి, మనం తిన్నది సరిగ్గా అరక్కపోతే మనకి అబ్జార్ప్షన్ జరగదు, ఎనర్జీ రాదు, ఏ పని మీద ధ్యాస ఉండదు, కేవలం కడుపు నొప్పి అని నిద్రపోతాం. సో మనము మన డైజెస్టివ్ సిస్టమ్ క్లీన్ గా ఉండేటట్టు చూసుకోవాలి. ఫర్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డ్రింక్ లాట్ అండ్ లాట్స్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్, so that to avoid acidity and for good digestion also. Consume more buttermilk, more coconut water. If you don't have buttermilk or coconut water, even you can drink lots of water. And eating herbs like ajwain. Ajwain means vamu. తులసి లీవ్స్ యు నో. స్నాఫ్ స్నాఫ్ అంటే ఈ ఫెనల్ సీడ్స్ అంటారు, అది ఐడియా ఉందా? సోంపు అంటారు కదా అది. జీరా, జీరా మీన్స్ జీలకర్ర. ఓకే, పుదీనా లీవ్స్, పుదీనా. క్లౌస్ అండ్ జాగరి, క్లౌస్ అంటే చెక్క లవంగా అంటారు కదా అవి. జాగరి మీన్స్, జాగరి అంటే ఏంటి నాన్న? బెల్లం. ఓకే, by taking these type of herbal we can solve our acidity problem. Okay children, now going to the next slide. We are concluding our lesson children. So healthy body leads to healthy mind, which gives a happy life. If you are very healthy, your body is healthy, you can concentrate on your studies, you can concentrate on your work, which gives you a healthy mind, which leads to a happy life. For this healthy body, it is necessary for us to perform some type of exercises like Vajrasana, or some type of daily exercises you can do to keep your mind and body healthy, which leads to the happy life. Okay, thank you children for watching this, and hope you all are reading well. Stay home, stay safe, as we are in the days of third wave. Stay safe but learn properly. Now I want to give you one project, that is prepare tooth structure. Okay, by using clay and by using peanuts you can prepare teeth. Go through the Google or some other apps you have, take out the tooth structures and prepare. See, this is tooth structure. Prepare the tooth structure by using clay and the peanuts. This is your project work children. Thank you, have a nice day.